In my recipe box, I have everything that really a homestead kitchen needs. I have tutorials or directions for homemade bread, cookies, brownies, sweet bread recipes or quick bread recipes like pumpkin bread, banana bread, tortillas, pita chips, and all of those things made with fresh milled flour. But what I didn't have a tutorial or recipe for was a delicious no-knead artisan style bread, and of course made with those freshly milled grains. So after doing a little bit of digging online and reading through a few tutorials and even looking up, flipping through my cookbooks, I just really honestly couldn't find what I was looking for. So instead I came up with my own recipe for a overnight no-knead artisan style bread made with those freshly milled grains. I wanted a bread recipe that was easy, super easy. We're talking minimal hands-on time. It needed to have the fresh milled flour, that flavorful taste. I wanted it to have the crisp outer edge and the soft inside. And if I'm honest, I wanted it to be a beautiful loaf of bread, like one of those artisan style breads that you would find at some kind of fancy bakery. So after a little bit of trial and error, I am very pleased to share with you my recipe for a no-knead whole grain bread. It is practically effortless. It makes an excellent overnight bread. I usually mix it up after dinner, set it on the counter, and in the morning it's ready to go. All I need to do is just give it a little bit of a shake and toss it into the oven, and it's done. So all you really need is a little bit of hands-on time, a good Dutch oven, and a grain mill. And then you will have a large golden brown artisan style loaf with that crisp outer edge and the soft moist crumb inside. So follow along with me if you would like to learn how to make bread with freshly milled flour. To make this Dutch oven bread with freshly milled flour, you will need water, honey, yeast, oil, vital wheat gluten, salt, and freshly milled hard white wheat flour. You can find the entire recipe on the blog at wholemadehomestead.com or by clicking on the link in the description box. In a large bowl, combine the warm water, honey, and yeast until slightly creamy looking. Stir in the oil. Add the vital wheat gluten, flour, and salt and mix until combined. Initially, the dough may look dry, but as you mix it, it will become sticky. Use your hands instead of a spatula if desired to combine the ingredients. Cover the bowl with plastic wrap and allow to rise for 12 to 15 hours or overnight until the dough has doubled. Remove the dough from the bowl. Transfer the dough to a floured surface. Carefully shape into a round loaf. Lightly dust the top of the loaf with flour. Line a colander with parchment paper, then place the loaf seam side up. Cover with a tea or kitchen towel. Allow the dough to rise at room temperature for 30 minutes. While the loaf is rising, preheat the oven to 475 degrees Fahrenheit. Place the Dutch oven with the lid on inside the oven for at least 30 minutes. When the loaf is ready to bake, place a sheet of parchment paper over the top of the colander. Invert the loaf and place it seam side down onto the sheet of parchment paper. Remove the Dutch oven and carefully lower the parchment and loaf into the pot. Put the lid back on and bake the loaf for 30 minutes. Remove the lid and bake for an additional 15 minutes until the bread is golden brown and crisp. Lift the loaf of bread out of the Dutch oven and place on a wire rack to cool. Once cooled, you can slice and serve. Leftovers can be stored in an airtight container. To grab the recipe and to learn more about fresh mill flour and how to use it for baking, be sure to check out the blog at homemadehomestead.com, or you can check out the links in the description box of this video. Alright, well until next time friends, have a wonderful week.